Welcome to this Zoom session in which we're going to talk about what we have on offer at South Regional TAFE for the Bunbury campus for tourism and retail. So I'm Alison O'Neill. I'm the Training Operations Coordinator for Construction and Service Industries, and I'm joined this evening by Natalie Adams, who's one of our retail lecturers, and Linda Williams.
Hi.
We're going to, in this session, we're going to talk about your job outcomes, what qualifications that we can have, expand on the industry themselves, and then also talk about the skills that you're going to develop by undertaking the training at South Regional TAFE. So Nat, tell us a little bit about retail, what it is and what does it mean?
Sure. So being part of the retail course gives you a step into working in customer service. So we focus on getting our students confident in areas of communication, sales, and all different parts of retail. So once you're in the industry, you can go into various interest areas. So if you like bikes, you can work in a retail bike store, you can go into hardware stores. There's a big variety within retail.
Sure, and there's a lot of online shopping at the moment.
As well, yes.
So
definitely.
that's still, and learning about electronic retail as well. You touch on
some
that
online
well.
and how to communicate electronically is quite important, yes.
And for retail itself, the core skill, and as customers and clients, the customer service side of things, it's not always the product that people come into your store for, it's for the customer service.
The customer service is one of the most important, but also dealing with other team members. So communication is one of the skills that we really focus on in retail. So building your communication skills so you can use them as part of a team with customers and with your other staff members. So yeah, communication's a big one. We also learn about point of sale systems and how to use FPOS machines, how to use a till, and how to use online shopping systems too. So
I don't think retail's ever going to go away.
We've been
there's always ladies wanting to buy shoes.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely. But there's also, retail, I really feel that if you've got the skills of being able to network with people and the skills of being able to sell yourself as well as sell a product, you can go a long way. So you can work up within the industry you can be in visual merchandising, you can be in sales, you can be a buyer. So you can go to travel and go to different conferences.
I want that job.
It depends on, you can buy shoes.
More shoes.
So there's a lot of different parts within retail. It's not just being on a checkout.
And I guess the skills that you develop and utilise in retail are very transferable to a lot of other industries.
Definitely, like we were saying, tourism. Yeah. Tourism and retail cross over a lot. Hospitality, working in cafes is still retail. You're selling food, you're serving customers. So management still involves retail.
And customer service is an actual skill. It's not, it comes naturally to a lot of people, doesn't it? But to understand how to respond to a difficult customer, difficult situations, managing the customer's expectations, they're all some of the skills that you will learn and develop with practice, and the confidence of being able to walk up to somebody that cold sale is very challenging.
It's not easy. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I think I really try to motivate my students and give them self-confidence. And I think that's so important. Communication skills, self-confidence, just so that, and also the ability to understand and have active listening skills and adapt to the person you're talking to. So you're going to need to change who you are depending on who you're speaking to.
And your tone of voice and your volume of voice and
all of
body
that.
language is
body
very
language is
important,
massive,
isn't it? It's sitting here, what would you like, as opposed to what would you like, said the same thing, but
definitely
with different body language. So learning to understand that and how to respond to that,
how to read it and how to use it in your favour.
Very much. And we do have a lot of students that come and do retail as we have quite a few mature age students that have been out of the workforce for quite some time, and it's a nice course to come and do to develop those, develop your confidence, because for some people that have been out of the workforce for a long time, they don't have that confidence in their own abilities, and also retail in particular has changed dramatically. You look at even from 12 months ago, the amount of online and even, you know, the old-fashioned till as opposed to a point of sale system, which is electronic. Merchandising and the way that you present displays is huge.
It is very important, and I think we've had a lot of students that have been in the workforce before, have been out to have children or out of work for many reasons, and are just getting the confidence to come back in, and they find this a great stepping stone, because the first term they're in the class learning the skills, the second term they get put into the work placement. So they get to learn in a safe environment with myself there guiding them and under a trainee label. But it's not only people that have been out of the workforce, it's also people that want to change industries. So I've had a lot of students that have wanted to go from one industry to another, and through work placement and getting the skills within retail have been able to do that and move to a different industry.
And we'll talk a bit more about workplace in a moment.
Yeah.
So thanks, Nat. Linda, tourism. What is tourism?
Oh, at the moment, tourism is so out there, I suppose would be the word.
Or in there.
In there. Yeah, in there.
We can't be out there.
Unfortunately, with the world the way it's going at the moment, hasn't stopped tourism. If anything, in Western Australia in particular, down south, it is a booming industry. People think tourism really, when they look at the qualification, think travel agency work. But there is so many different options out there. We've got tour guides, and tour guides are huge at the moment in our cavings, winery areas, all that sort of stuff.
We're blessed to live where we live.
Visitor information services, again, is a huge area. You've got
so
tourism
they're the old
commissions.
tourist bureaus, aren't
Tourist
they?
bureaus, exactly, Alison, yeah.
Visitor information.
Tourism commissions at the moment, Western Australian Tourism Commission Authority, they're actually really out there doing a lot of marketing. So our area is not just travel agencies. Yes, we've got cruises as well, not at the moment, but airlines, wholesalers. You could go and work for Kentucky Tours or something like that.
Ecotourism.
Ecotourism is a major one that's happening at the moment. We do a lot of obviously customer services, same as Nat. It is a real customer service industry. Tourism is an intangible product, because we could go out to Nat's retail shop and buy those shoes and we have them straight away. With tourism, you have to create that interest for people, and it's using a lot of customer service skills, painting a picture in that person's mind of what they're purchasing, because it could be months in advance until they go on the holiday.
Where shall I go?
Yeah.
So it's
asking those
into their
questions
needs.
and qualifying your customer correctly. People go, I want to go to, well, I can't use Hawaii at the moment, but I will for an example. And people have this picture, it's going to be all palm trees and sipping cocktails on the white beach. They get there and there's these huge rise buildings, and it's that busy. It's not what people envision. So it's qualifying your customer to make sure what exactly they want, what they see in their head, which is a real big skill that we have to learn to obviously sell and match people's benefits and needs and wants with a product.
Absolutely, and it does cross over with hospitality.
Hospitality is very closely niched with tourism.
They actually sit within the same training package and share a lot of the same units. And if you were going to work in a resort and you have a tourism background where you could take clients out on a tour one day, but then you're working in the restaurant that night. That's very common within a resort situation.
At reception, and somebody needs help with their travel arrangements, or they need to hire a vehicle or add on accommodation or book a day tour in concierge and stuff like that. That's where tourism.
Give them advice about local attractions. That's very, very important, isn't it?
Yes,
as part of being within the industry. So let's talk about what qualifications we offer at South Regional TAFE. So in the retail space, we do a Certificate 2 in Retail Services. and it covers a lot of the units that have the skills that Nat was talking about before, and she touched on work placement. So part of your qualification means you go out into the workplace and you do work experience. So you go and work with a host employer, and it can very much be treated as an extended job interview where you are working. Your lecturer, now in this case, will come out and assess you within the workplace to see how you're actually really working. Because we can do some simulated activities in the classroom, but nothing beats real life experience and learning how to work with colleagues. All of studies in the vocational sector have employability skills, and they include things such as punctuality. So being committed to, and you treat it like a job, you turn up on time. You don't turn up at 9 o'clock because that's when your shift starts. You turn up at 10 to 9, so you are standing in position at your station ready to commence work. So learning how to actually respond and be responsible for your own work actions is extremely important and very, very valid part of our training. We have had a fantastic turnaround, in particular this year, haven't we, Nat? With students that have gone to work placement, and at the end of their work placement, they've actually gainfully been employed by their host employer.
Yep, it's been great.
Fantastic outcomes like that. And as with all of our lecturers at TAFE, it's in no part due to the dedication and passion of our lecturers, who are all industry experienced in their own right, but they also have a passion to instil their skills and knowledge into the next generation and build it on. And as for a lecturer, there's nothing more satisfying than seeing a student's skills develop, and then when they get a job, it's high fives all round, because it's that sense of pride. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, to develop skills so people can move into employment and onto successful career paths.
Definitely.
So that's our Certificate 2 in retail services. In our tourism space, we have a Certificate 3. So this is offered, and actually I'll go back to retail, I apologise. We've also got, the Certificate 2 can also be done as a trainee. So where you are employed full-time, and part of your training is done responsible by your employer, and the lecturer will support you through and come out and do the assessing. But your training is actually done on the job. For a Certificate 2 in retail to come onto campus and do that is completed in 1 semester. If you do it in a trainee space, you don't necessarily come onto campus at all. It's all in the workplace, all very real life, you're getting paid. And that's a 9-month, I believe. So that's a longer time period, but it's also it can be more intensive for you as well, because you've got so much on the job training and real life experience. With tourism, we also offer that as a Certificate 3 in tourism. I'm going to get Linda to talk about the different streams of, because it depends where you work. But we also offer the Certificate 3 in tourism on campus. Again, this is a 1 semester course. And some of the electives that we do in there is quite broad. So I'm going to get Linda to expand on that, because we want to... we don't specifically target one area of the industry. We want to give everyone a broad understanding, so there's a little bit of interest, and then from there you can expand and go into the area. So do you want to start with the Certificate 3 on campus and our different electives that we do and why we do them?
Okay, so the Certificate 3 on campus is ran over 2.5 to 3 days a week for the 19 weeks, which is 1 semester. It's so vast, tourism. If you're not in a traineeship or working in a business, we look at what we can train you in. So we do a little bit of airfares and ticketing. We obviously are concentrating very harshly on Australia travel at the moment. So a lot of people come out of school or come out and go, where is this place? What is there to offer? So we do a lot of destinational studies on that part, which again is not necessarily all tourism in the travel side of it. It's local knowledge, and we concentrate on that. We also, and this is one of the favourites, work as a guide, prepare and present commentary tours. So we go out into industry, the students organise the whole package. We take community service groups, and the students write from plan an itinerary, their stops, make gift bags up for the clients, their itineraries, name badges, and they physically go out and do a tour with industry, which is really...
And provide commentary.
And commentary at their stops, which they tend to really enjoy because it's a live situation. Because in tourism, we don't have work placement like Natalie does. It's all done on campus. So getting us out there, getting involved is really important for our students. Obviously, as well, customer service comes into ours. And as I mentioned earlier, how to access all the information from brochures to internet sites, and then how to interpret that to give that to the client in plain English is really important. And then once you've got that, changing it over into selling skill and making sure you can close that sale, because our industry
provide people the experience that they're after.
It's a really hard industry to close off on. Very competitive out there, the tourism industry is.
And the challenges are now, you look at how many people can do, can book flights online and things, but it's almost coming back away from that though, isn't it, Linda? Because people have had some very poor experiences.
Yes.
And referring their travel to an expert, because people spend a lot of money on holidays, and the risk of booking yourself and being disappointed, because there's not everybody is as honest as they should be.
And it's all about, for me anyway, when I was in the industry, is making that person's dream come true. And it's a real passion, that if you can show that passion, people will pay for it because they want that experience and expertise.
Totally.
So we also delve a little bit into some business documents, learning a little bit about the Excel, the PowerPoints and the spreadsheets, how to do them correctly. And we also go into a web unit, which is something our industry is getting really into, with how to put things on Facebook and blogs and how to write a blog. So it's quite a very range of units.
Skills.
And skills, social media and using social media to promote your business is absolutely, it's current now, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
No, exactly.
It's growing.
So it's a nice range. So, and in the trainee space, we do streams.
Yes, we do streams in the trainee place, depending on where again you're working. I've had trainees in travel agents, in tourist bureaus, at the Dolphin Discovery Centre, down at the Jetty, in Busselton, at the Caves. So it really depends on where you are working, even at the councils.
Yes.
So organising events at councils and stuff like that, Bunbury City Council, that's the word I was looking for. So it really depends, and we can work with you and your employer to find out where you want to go or where you need to go.
What the needs of the business are, and what tasks you're actually being performing in the business, and what your role is as an employee. So we very much tailor that, and we have the ability to do that, because the range of electives are so vast, because it is such a vast industry. But the generic skills of customer service, financial transactions, digital media,
visitor information services,
information technology, use of computers and digital documentation is generic across the board, but it's those specific skills. And again, we're so blessed to live where we live.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you look at the Margaret River region, our tourism is just incredible.
I was mentioning that I have a trainee down in Pemberton, and there's no accommodation whatsoever down there at the moment.
And
so we're just booming.
And we've had a student who's gained a job working as a guide in the caves just very recently.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
I have a ex-student also working in London selling Australian wines. It's a couple of years ago, but we've got cruise directors, we've got travel agents, we've got tour guides, we've got people working on resorts in Queensland.
And you're so right, Linda. It's such a hard industry to quantify, and it's such a broad term. But the corporate side of tourism is huge as well because, and there are a lot of
mine
grants and
sites at the
funds and
moment.
things, absolutely, that the government is currently, you know, you look at some of the campaigns that are happening at the moment, promoting Western Australia. I mean, that was even pre-COVID.
Yeah,
Wasn't it, that
definitely.
they were doing that. And for Australians travelling overseas, when we can again, in both tourism and hospitality, Australians have got such a good reputation as workers within both of those industries, particularly in places like the UK, Canada, where Australians are highly sought after because they're known as hard workers and the approachable nature and our methods of communication. So it is, you know, it's a bit of a pun when you think about tourism and travel, but the world is your oyster.
I'd even add retail into hospitality and tourism.
Not to forget retail.
I travel with retail.
Yes,
There's always sales everywhere in the world.
absolutely. So always need to. So now, thank you very much for your time, ladies, and I hope we've been able to impart some of our passion and information about what we offer at the Bunbury campus of South Regional TAFE. Please go to our website if you would like any more information on the courses. TAFE admissions is now open. So both of these particular courses are what we call direct entry. So if you apply, you meet the entry requirements, you can be an offer almost instantly, and your enrolment can be sorted before the end of the year. You don't have to wait until next year for our competitive courses where we have limited numbers. So we would welcome you in our classroom and encourage you to go ahead.
We'd love to see you.
If you'd like to ask any questions, you can lodge an inquiry through our website to the course inquiry, and that'll get forwarded to myself, and I'll direct them to the appropriate lecturer, and they'll get in touch with you and be able to answer some of your specific questions. So very much look forward to seeing you on campus. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.